British public have watched me grow up, and so it's quite a nice thing to do, to look back and see what we've learned from my mistakes.
She is a global icon, a flawed one, a complicated one, a mischievous little minx, who I suspect will give as good as she gets.
My mother said to me, if you're nervous, just imagine him naked.
You were voted, at the height of the Spice Girls' success, Britain's favourite Spice Girl. You got a third of all the votes. Do you think you were the best?
I wouldn't dare to answer that and say I just couldn't.
You wouldn't dare to answer it? You'd dare to do anything?
How can I just think that would be just so cocky to think I was the best.
Were you the number one?
No, I never thought I was number one. I actually thought I was always number two.
To who?
To Emma.
Really?
Yeah, because I think Emma was much easier to like. She doesn't ever offend anybody, and I think, although I think I can communicate well with people and hopefully they identify with me, sometimes I would put my foot in it a little bit more. So, but that is very flattering to think, you know, that I was the most popular.
Emma won. Yeah. You two.
Oh God.
Go on, who's three?
I couldn't
Oh, you
say.
can't stop there. No. We now have a pecking order, a ranking of Spice Girls. Who's third?
It'd be according to what dolls were left on the shelf.
Come on, who's third? Posh, scary, sporty.
I think probably sporty.
Sporty?
Yeah. Do you know what, actually, I always refer to Victoria, which is quite nice. She, you know, she'd get this kind of very black or white feeling, either absolute adoration or not. She knows that she's like Marmite.
You love her or hate her?
Yeah.
Which do you do?
I absolutely love her. The girl that I know has got absolutely nothing to do with what I see in the media.
But at the moment, she's not even in your top 3 Spice Girls.
That's talking about the image, isn't it?
So
the doll.
Who's fourth?
I couldn't say. I'm going to leave it at that.
Can't leave it there. We've now got the top 3. It's either Mel B or Posh.
I'm not going to say the least.
You were all studying these charts.
No, you weren't.
Yes, you were. You'd mow each other down in hover-mothers if you got the chance.
No.
You were,
not true, actually.
You were competitive.
Do you know what the funny thing about us, what I really learned, is that when the world was against us, we were the tightest, actually. It's a bit like family. That we're allowed to kind of criticise each other, but nobody else was. And if anybody was attack us, we'd be like a rock. And I actually do feel fiercely loyal. I want to defend them. So, yeah.
Who was the best looking? Who had the best face?
I think probably Emma.
Emma?
Emma, very pretty.
Most beautiful, you think?
Yeah, I think
the
so.
Prettiest?
Yeah, prettiest. You know Mel B, I have to say, she's absolutely beautiful, but I think she's more beautiful off camera. The camera never did her
face for radio.
Yeah, no, she did. The camera never did her justice. She's absolutely gorgeous, even more gorgeous in real life.
What would be the asset she has, which is better than the other 4? We're trying to design the perfect woman from each of the Spice Girls. We've got Emma's face.
She had great boobs.
I think we know. Well, you were voted Britain's best breasts.
Is that?
Yes. Apparently, the most popular breasts in Spice Girls were yours.
Wow. You give me my
And
mirror.
unlike the others, we have actually seen yours. Your early glamour career. So I can confirm they were magnificent.
Thank you.
So you're definitely getting the best breast. So we have Emma's face, your cleavage.
Victoria's legs.
Victoria's legs.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Oh, I would say Melanie's bottom.
Melanie's bottom.
She's got an amazing bottom.
This is Melanie
B.
B.
Yeah.
So what's Melanie C offering us?
I would say I'd take her eyes.
Right.
And she has a lovely torso.
And whose brain are we going for?
Mine. That's your Victoria's.
Do you think you're the cleverest?
It depends what you define as clever, because sometimes you could say that Mel...
If you all play Scrabble, who would win?
Ooh, I think I studied more. Okay, I've read. I'm more into. I think they'll agree that I've read a lot more. I love books.
You're more intelligent.
That doesn't mean you're more intelligent. There's all different types of intelligence, because I think Mel B had a very instinctive. You know, maybe it's not through academics, but she had very instinctive intelligence. And Victoria had a fantastic business sense. I have to say, I loved being a band with her, because no one was ever going to rip us off with Victoria in the band. She was so good at it.
Who's the sexiest? Who do you think men would look at and want to go to bed with first? You were the girl power band, so I think these questions are kind of fascinating.
Okay,
because,
from my point of view.
Yeah, from where you as the band leader really saw things, you know? Because you were all very aware of yourselves, I thought, and also the power you had, particularly over
I think it was like a collective power. I loved, and I still do, and we show up, the five of us, we felt completely, like, in a way untouchable, because you've got each other. So if I said something, if I confronted anybody, I know that, you know, that I had these 4 girls with me that would back me up, which was very nice.
What was the essence of girl power, do you think? At its heart, what was it really about?
It was about, and it is about, actually believing that no matter where you've come from, you know, who you are, you can empower yourself, you can give yourself that opportunity, that self-belief and that encouragement. I think it's about encouragement that you can make your dreams come true, no matter what it is. And
do you think you succeeded in changing perhaps the mindset of a generation of young women to think
I don't think it was about changing. I think it was an example of a generation that was already out there. You know, that we was kind of, you know, these girls that you didn't have to lose your femininity. You know, you didn't have to burn your bra and behave like a man. Actually, you can celebrate.
Well, you got into trouble. You said that basically feminism to you was about bra burning. And actually the feminist thing came after you, giving you a hard time.
I think it's such an ugly word. It really is.
Feminist.
And I kind of think it's all levelled out. Do you?
I do.
Yeah.
I think you were a force for good. A naughty force for good.
A naughty.
But a force for good.
Yeah, I think sometimes in life, if it's done, it's how it's done. If it's done playfully and rather than ramming it down your throat, no one wants to be preached to. It wasn't about that.
So, Geri, how is it that an ordinary girl from Watford became a global icon? From Watford to Hollywood, Geri Halliwell is one of the most iconic women of the last 2 decades.
Everybody around the world knows Ginger Spice.
Geri was well and truly a wannabe, and nothing was going to stand in her way on the road to fame and fortune.
We are doing exactly what we want to do. We're pursuing a dream.
Right from the early days of the Spice Girls, Geri was determined to make her mark on the world. Spice Girls! And her show-stealing appearance in a skimpy, patriotic dress became one of the defining images of the 90s.
I love her dress. I think she made a huge stamp and it's iconic. I mean, come on now. She knows what she's doing.
She was the one that would take on the producers head on if I introduced them. You know, she could be very naughty, especially if they were male.
I know you, Martin.
Geri's breast falling out at the Brit Awards. I don't think she staged that, but you know, it grabs the front pages.
For Geri, the limelight could be difficult to share, and she tried to grab as much of it as she possibly could.
It just became a little bit competitive, who could push the boundaries the most. And it was funny, obviously, meeting Prince Charles. Mel B kissed him, Geri pinched his bum.
You have the world's press just 10 feet away. She couldn't help herself.
But you know what, I think you're very sexy. Oh no!
As your hand reached out to the royal button, what are you thinking?
I didn't actually pinch it, I patted it.
It was more of a pinch.
Okay, thing is, when I'm Spanish, okay, or half Spanish, and when you meet my mother, she says, "Hello, how are you?" And you always pats your bum. That's her kind of, that's the way she is. So there's a little bit of that.
So he's coming down the line.
Yeah, I don't...
You're seeing him with your mates. You see it's Prince
Maybe like
Charles.
nervous-
What is going through your head?
Nervous Tourette's kind of behaviour. When I get nervous, something I always trip up, do something. A lot of it sometimes is nerves. What I've learned, maybe I didn't know it then, but of all, nearly every powerful man that I've met wants to be treated like a normal human being. They're so, when you're head of a company, whether you're the King of England, whether you're so used to telling everybody what to do and everybody like kissing your bum.
Well, did you quite fancy Prince Charles?
I didn't fancy.
You told him you found him sexy.
Do you know what it is? He's a prince, so that's at this time, so that's like, ooh, it's a prince.
You fancied him, didn't you?
No, I wouldn't say fancy. I was charmed by him. Yeah, he's charming.
I mean, if he'd
I
stopped-
sat next to him at our premiere.
What was that like?
That was funny. When I came in, like on the movie with my red, I had this red swimming costume, and you went, ooh, that's very nice. So that wasn't bad, going to the movies with
He
Prince
said
Charles.
meeting you in that lineup was the second greatest moment of his life, and the greatest had been the last time he'd met you. Well, that's a bit of a clue, isn't it?